Hi, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Susan Mason, and I am the director of the Intuit Financial Freedom Foundation, the chief sponsor for the Tax Time Allies campaign. Now, you may be asking yourself, what the heck is the Tax Time Allies campaign? It's a growing movement of national, state, and local nonprofits, coalitions, and associations, companies like mine, and individual volunteers from across the country who are committed to empowering people at tax time and united in a common goal, helping them find and take advantage of the IRS's free taxpayer assistance programs, VITA, Free File, and tax counseling for the elderly. Intuit is one of several companies that donate our tax software through the IRS and the Georgia Free File programs. And we are a proud cheerleader and funder of the national network of local VITA programs. And in a few minutes, you will hear from another cheerleader, VITA cheerleader, and member of the Georgia and IRS Free File program, Georgia's own tax layer. We have planned this webinar specifically for you, and that's because we know how hard you work on behalf of the Georgians that you serve. And while taxes may not be anyone's favorite topic, and Intuit, and I bet a lot of people on this call, we believe that preparing a tax return is core to everyone's financial lives, and doing them for free and with confidence can be a life changer. And you are the trusted messengers in your community. And we are hoping that we can use these next few minutes to motivate and equip you to use your megaphone and communications channel to help amplify three messages to the public. File your taxes, use the new look back rule to get the biggest possible refund, and use IRS and Georgia free taxpayer assistance programs. Over the next half hour or so, you will hear more about these key messages and the resources that are available to help you help taxpayers. First up will be remarks from Congressman Rick Allen, followed by Georgia Department of Revenue Commissioner David Curry. Next, we'll get an overview about where things stand this tax season with a conversation with Kaisha Bolden from the IRS, and two taxpayer assistance program providers, Seth Babb from TaxSlayer and John Fredo from AARP TaxAid. Then we'll issue our call to action, where we need your help to spread the word and how we can help you do it. We'll wrap up with a few words from those important people in this conversation, taxpayers who have benefited from these free programs, and then a Q&A session with you. Now, throughout this webinar, please submit your questions in the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen, and we will do our best to answer those questions today or in a follow-up email. So let's get started. We are so fortunate to have Congressman Rick Allen with us today. He is one of the most active tax time allies in Congress, role modeling for all how to spread the word about these free taxpayer assistance programs. In fact, this is his 5th year giving his time to help us call attention to these programs. And while we kind of wish he would spend all of his time on this, he does have other responsibilities. He was first elected to Congress in 2014, and he serves on the Agriculture and Education and Labor committees. And before joining Congress, he founded a construction company, as you all probably know, which created thousands of jobs in Augusta and Athens. Thank you so much, Congressman, for being with us today. I'll turn off my camera and give the screen to you.
Well, thank you so much. And I'm so happy to be here today to help empower Georgia taxpayers to prepare taxes on their own. As Susan said, I've been participating in these types of events for many years throughout my district because it's so important that people are aware of all the free tax services available to them, whether it's online or in person. Free IRS-sponsored programs like Free File, VITA, and AARP TaxAid help make sure that those who need it the most pay not one penny more than they are obligated to pay, and they get every dollar and penny owed to them. I have long been a tax time ally and have personally seen the vital contributions that the Free File program and VITA have made to our communities. Over 60 million taxpayers have used Free File since it was created in 2003 created in the 2003 free file has saved taxpayers over $1.8 million in tax prep fees. With April 15th just a month away, please help us to get the word out about the free IRS Taxpayers Assistance programs available online and in our community that you'll be hearing about today. We want to make sure that low and moderate income taxpayers are aware of their choices for free tax preparation and can make the decision that is best for themselves and their families. Thank you all. Thanks to all of our community organizations on the call today, working to make sure Georgia taxpayers who need a refund the most can get help that they need, file for free, and even get connected to other resources for themselves or their families. Thank you so much for being with you today. And with that, Susan, I will turn it back to you.
Congressman, thank you so much, and thank you for your steady support as a Tax Time ally. We'll let you go do your other business, but we know where your heart is.
Right. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Now it's my pleasure to introduce you to Revenue Commissioner David Curry. Commissioner Curry was sworn in almost 2 years ago, and he previously served as Henry County Tax Commissioner and is the first ever tax commissioner to be appointed to the Office of State Revenue Commissioner. He is also the third commissioner in a row to lend his time at these events to call attention to resources that are available. And we consider him a tax time ally and a fellow tax nerd. So thank you so much for joining us, Commissioner, and I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Susan. Yes, as a kid, I was that little skinny kid in the corner that wore the glasses, so I fit the nerd type quite well. But it is a pleasure being with you and your group today. But I'm here today because, like all of you, I want to make sure that all hardworking taxpayers know about and have access to the help they need to complete their tax returns and get the refund they're owed, which is an important step in starting to pay off debt and save money. Even a little bit can go a long way. I've got a son that got married last year, and he's starting a new family. And he and his wife were at the house this past weekend, and they said, "Dad, I need you to help us do these taxes, and we want to find the cheapest way to do it." So it's wonderful we're having this conversation today, because I was telling him about all the vendors out there that offer free tax software to file your taxes. But thanks to the Georgia Department of Revenue, sponsored by the tax preparation programs, Georgians have free resources to help securely and accurately file their tax returns while capturing all the credits and deductions they deserve, putting much needed money back in the pockets and back into the economy. I encourage you to visit the Department of Revenue, our website, the Department of Revenue, the DOR.georgia.gov, and search for Free File Alliance to see all the different software options available to you. Determine which one is you're eligible for and which one best works for your family and your financial circumstances. And I'd also like to thank Congressman Allen for taking time to be with us today, and all of you joining us. Let's work together to ensure taxpayers are aware of the choices for free tax preparation and can make the decisions best for themselves and their families. This is not just good for them. It's not good just for the Georgia families. It's good for our state. So thank you again for allowing me to be a part of such a wonderful, wonderful venue.
Well, we are so happy to have you, and congratulations to your son and his wife for their new marriage, and for asking their dad the most important question: how do I get my taxes done?
Susan, it's amazing when they're teenagers, mom and dad, they lose their intelligence. They're not as smart, but when they start to get a little older and they get married and have families of their own, I think they'll realize mom and dad they're a little smarter than they gave them credit for just a few years earlier. But yes,
you learned so much in the time that they grew up.
That's right. But yes, thank you.
Thank you. So now I'd like to bring up three other tech leaders in the Tax Time Ally movement, and that's Keisha Bolden, John Fredo, and Seth Babb. So if you guys can turn on your cameras and your microphones. There you go. Terrific. Keisha is the Senior Stakeholder Relationship Tax Consultant with the IRS. John is the Augusta Richmond County AARP Tax Aid District Coordinator. And Seth is the Director of Consumer Products for TaxLayer, which is based in Augusta. We are so grateful that you all are joining us, and we thought we would just take a few minutes to get your perspective on how tax season is going and how people can benefit from the resources that you have. My first question is to Keisha. And before I do that, I want to say, in some ways, this is a tax season like no other, but somehow you and your colleagues at the IRS are making it just like every other year by bringing these programs to people. And given how much is on your plate, we just want to thank you so much for taking the time to join us. My first question is to you, Keisha. People often have a question. There are 3 IRS taxpayer assistance programs. What are they? How are they different? How do they complement each other? And what's the best way to find them?
Thank you so much, Susan. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Congressman Allen and Commissioner Curry. And thank you to the Tax Time Allies and Susan Mason for putting together this wonderful event. Again, my name is Keisha Bolden, and I'm here today to represent IRS. I want to thank everyone for their support of our Free File program and to affirm our commitment to this public-private partnership. Let's get on to VITA. VITA is one of our major programs regarding helping taxpayers. Our partners in the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program prepare millions of tax returns each year. The VITA program has operated for over 50 years, offering free tax help to people who generally make $57,000 or less, persons with disabilities, and limited English-speaking taxpayers who need assistance in preparing their own tax returns. In addition to VITA, the Tax Credit for the Elderly, or TCE program, it offers tax help, particularly for those who are 60 years of age and older, specializing in questions about pensions and retirement-related issues that are very unique to seniors. VITA and TCE locations can be found by using the VITA TCE locator tool and AARP tax aid site locator tool, and that's on irs.gov, or you can just search the keyword VITA. I also want to talk briefly about how Free File works. Free File is just one way the IRS serves the nation's taxpayers by working with third parties to help file free tax returns. So the first thing you're going to want to do is go to irs.gov/free file, or you can simply click on the File Your Taxes for Free icon on the landing page of irs.gov. The second thing you'll need to do is either browse 9 of the offers that are available, and you can use the lookup tool to find the right product. Each Free File partner sets its own eligibility standards. Generally, that's based on your income, your age, and your state residency. The third thing that you're going to want to do is select your provider and follow the links to the webpage to begin a tax return. And the last thing, number 4, you're going to want to complete and e-file a tax return only if you have all the income and deduction records you need. Now, the fastest way to get your refund is by filing electronically and selecting direct deposit. If you owe, you'll want to use IRS Direct Pay, which is free, or electronic payment options, which may charge a fee. Since Free File's debut in 2003, more than 60 million taxpayers have saved $1.8 billion in tax preparation fees, and that's just based on a conservative $30 charge.
Yeah.
You can even use Free File to do your taxes on your smartphone or other devices by downloading the IRS To Go app. IRS To Go is the official mobile app of the IRS. You can check out your refund status, you can make payments, find free tax preparation assistance, sign up for helpful tax hints, and more. IRS To Go is available in both English and Spanish. So don't forget to subscribe to Tax Tips to receive information throughout the filing season and the year. Just enter your email address and click subscribe. It's really that easy.
Well, Keisha, thank you. And 2 follow-up points. One, for people in Georgia, on behalf of Commissioner Curry, I want to remind people that if there are products that are available to file both your federal and state returns for free. And you can either get those through the irs.gov website, or you can go to the Georgia Department of Revenue website and find out which ones offer both free fed and free state. And I noticed that my colleague Ilsa put those links in the chat. So that's great. Keisha, the other thing I wanted to ask you is these days so much relies on the tax return. getting the stimulus payments, getting the biggest refund by comparing your 2019 and your 2020 income, and then the most recent tax waiver on the $10,000 of unemployment income. What's the best way to make sure taxpayers can take advantage of these benefits?
Well, I'm going to go over several ways that people can benefit from these newly enacted tax legislation. So basically, for the tax year 2020, unemployment payments and other unearned income received could affect the amount of earned income a worker can claim. So the IRS will provide taxpayers with additional guidance on those provisions that could affect their 2020 tax return, including the retroactive provision that makes the first $10,200 of 2020 unemployment benefits non-taxable. That's what we're looking for. For those who haven't filed yet, the IRS will provide a worksheet of paper filers for paper filers and work with software industry to update current tax software so that taxpayers can really determine how to report their unemployment income on their 2020 tax return. Now, for those who received unemployment benefits last year and have already filed their 2020 tax return, the IRS emphasizes they should not file an amended return at this time until the IRS issues more guidance on that. Okay. Now, on to the new look back rule. This is something that is going to work for so many people and just really help out because under the Taxpayer Certainty and Disaster Tax Relief Act of 2020, taxpayers can use their 2019 earned income to figure their 2020 earned income tax credit if their 2019 earned income was more than their 2020 earned income. So to qualify for the earned income tax credit, people must have earned income. So this option may help workers who earned less in 2020 or received unemployment benefits instead of their regular wages. They can get bigger tax credits, and that can help them get larger refunds this year. And the same is also true for the additional child tax credit. So just remember, to get the earned income tax credit, workers must file a federal income tax return, even if you're not otherwise required to file. To specifically claim that credit, you've got to file, okay? And I know the exciting news that's on everyone's mind right now is the stimulus. So per the newly enacted American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, the Internal Revenue Service announced on Friday, March 12, 2021, that the third round of economic impact payments will begin reaching Americans over the next week. The IRS is hard at working at implementing these changes. So we will announce updates on irs.gov as soon as possible. That's why you have to subscribe to those tax tips. And remember, the filing season deadline is still April 15th. Finally, yes.
Can I interrupt a minute here?
Sure.
We're seeing in the returns that we're doing at the AARP sites, that look back is giving taxpayers about a $500 or $600 increase in their refunds.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's a really good strategy that they came up with.
It really isn't it? I mean, a lot of people I know are just grateful for that help because anywhere that they can get a boost in their refund, they need to take it. Okay, because I also want to address why it's important to file the tax return, because filing the tax return to get your stimulus is one thing, but it's very important to file your tax return whether or not you owe money or you're due a refund, because income taxes are pay as you go. So this means that you need to pay most of your tax during the year as you receive income rather than trying to pay it at the end of the year. Based on the Taxpayer Bill of Rights, taxpayers have the right to pay only the amount of tax legally due, including interest and penalties, and to have the IRS apply all tax payments properly. So filing a tax return and reporting your income accurately, it ensures that you're able to exercise your right to pay no more than the correct amount of tax. So I just really appreciate you all for having me and, just being able to educate everyone, because there's so many tools, so many things out there for you. Check irs.gov, download the app, IRS to go.
Aisha, I'm going to take you on the road with me if we ever get back on the road.
Absolutely. I'm game.
Well, now I want to turn to you, John, and thank you for that excellent insight into what you're seeing. Keisha talked about the 3 different programs that are available through the IRS, but it really boils down, in my mind, to whose hands are on the keyboard. With the VITA and tax counseling for the elderly, a volunteer's hands are on the keyboard. They're the ones doing it for the taxpayer. Whereas with Free File, you're doing it on your own with a lot of in-product help and services. Either way, it's important for people to use these services. And John, tell us more about AARP service in the community and why this is so important, what you're doing.
Well, AARP TaxAid has been helping taxpayers for over 50 years now, with just like the VITA program. We're very similar to the VITA program, except we get the extra training for the seniors. And what we're finding here is I like the Free File program, and we refer a lot of our younger taxpayers to that. But a lot of the seniors are not the tech savvy type that even want to touch a keyboard, let alone. In fact, a lot of them still have flip phones. They don't even have smartphones yet. So we provide a service to them to ease their anxiety at tax time by being that link between the technology of filing taxes and their lack of technology. So we've been doing, I see a lot of the same people every year come in, but I also see a lot of the younger ones still coming in to have their taxes done, even though they could probably do it online themselves. They prefer to have us do it. So we actually are on site preparing the returns and electronically filing them for the taxpayer. But well, like I said, this year, because of the limitations with COVID, our counts are way down. By this time, 2 years ago, we were doing almost 2,500 returns. As of yesterday, we were doing about 750. So we're referring a lot more people to the online Free File that can do that because they simply can't get an appointment into our place.
And so, John, what you're seeing locally is that you still have appointments further out, but if people are going to use it, they need to make appointments sooner rather than later.
Yeah, what we've been able to do is, as they've lowered the COVID restrictions where we can get more of our counselors on site, we've been able to open up our appointment lines again to get some more appointments squeezed in there. So between now and April 15th, we hope to increase our preparation by being able to do it on site. Right now, all of our counselors work from home remotely. So the taxpayer comes into our site, we do the interview, we scan their documents in and send it out to a preparer to be done. So we lose about like a 2 or 3 day turnaround to try to get that return done and back for the taxpayer to come in, sign the forms for electronic filing and go. Once we can bring the tax preparers back in the office, the taxpayer can actually wait outside, like in his car, or here in Augusta. If the weather's been so nice, they've been sitting out at picnic tables waiting for us to call them back in the office. So we can do it right away again, and we can get more done that way without this delay for remote processing.
That's so helpful to hear, John. And it's also the reason why if people who need the most hands-on help, if we can let them know to book those appointments now, and people who are a little nervous about using online, if there's a way that we can give them a boost of motivation to try it, so you all can help the people that need it the most. But thank you so much. Let me turn now to our colleague in Free File, and that's Seth Babb from TaxSlayer. Tell us about how it's going for you this season, and why is it that TaxSlayer is a part of Free File?
Well, we believe in Free File. We believe in the programs to help folks file their returns. We're proud to be an Augusta-based company at TaxSlayer, serving Georgia taxpayers and others for over 50 years now. And, we've seen many changes in the tax ecosystem over the years, and they seem to be coming more rapidly over the last few years, the challenges and the changes. And we work hard to make sure that, taxpayers can take advantage of their tax time moment. That's what makes programs like Free File and VITA TCE so important. We're proud to be part of Free File and proud to be a provider of software to thousands of the VITA sites across Georgia and the rest of the U.S. We're in unprecedented times right now as a country. We know Georgians and Americans at large, they need help filing their tax return, not only to do their duty as Americans to pay their fair share of taxes and get any refunds that may be coming to them, but now to receive their fair share of the impact payments. And, TaxSlayer's had opportunities to help many folks over the years. This past year may be one of the toughest, but with that, it's also been one of the most rewarding. And, we're looking forward to continuing on providing great services and technologies to Georgians, free federal and free state returns for many years to come.
And Seth, like TurboTax TaxSlayers, we've got a lot of changes to implement into our software. How's it going for you as one of the representatives of the Free File programs? How are the changes being implemented into your software?
Well, just to kind of riff on that a little bit, we were a founding member since 2003, along with our colleagues here. And, we call our offer the TaxSlayer American Pledge, which is wide ranging and creates full eligibility in line with the IRS guidelines. And, implementing these changes can sometimes be a tall task, but the Free File program is a wonderfully successful public and private partnership between the IRS and the Free File Alliance companies. And, I'm personally proud to be part of this cohort of companies. As you mentioned, outside of this endeavor, we're competitors in the industry. But in this case, we come together to work very closely with the IRS for the benefit of the American people. And it is it's a huge reward and very rewarding endeavor, initiative. And, regarding the changes themselves, there's been a lot for sure. And TaxSlayer is working very hard to get the newest, changes passed in the American Rescue Plan, to working hard to get them implemented as quickly as possible, because we know that, tax time can cause stress and anxiety to some folks. I loved your opening slide that says empowering people at tax time. And, to help further that initiative, I want to encourage and remind everyone of two things. Know your options. That's what makes these events so important. Know what your options are out there for filing. Look at the landscape and ensure that you're choosing the right channel, the right offer that's going to fit your needs. And then secondly, to reduce that anxiety or uncertainty, have confidence. Have confidence that TaxSlayer, the other companies, the state of Georgia, and the IRS are working around the clock sometimes and working hard to on your behalf to help you file the most accurate return and to take control of your tax time moment, helping you navigate the tax forms and get all the deductions and credits you deserve.
That is a great way of wrapping up this conversation, Seth, because every one of you on this call, every one of you who've just spoken, you are tax time allies that are out there to show people their options and get them the best possible deal. So thank you so much for that. And if you can stay on, but go off video and Mike, we're going to get to our call to action, but call you all back up for the Q&A with the audience. And I really do want to thank everybody for this information. As you heard, it is just critical to get this into the hands and the minds of Georgia taxpayers now. And again, as Ilsa is already sharing it with you in the chat, we'll also be putting a link in, sending you an email after the session. And this really does bring us to our call to action. You all are the trusted messengers in Georgia, among the best people possible to speak directly to taxpayers who are eligible for and can benefit from these services. And that's what we hope you'll do, to use your megaphone, your communication channels to amplify these three messages. File your taxes. As we know, many people who don't owe or who aren't owed money typically don't file taxes. However, as we saw this past year, Congress and the administrations are using tax returns to quickly distribute stimulus funds and benefits, and they'll continue to do so with this next round of payments. And filing a tax return can also be an opportunity to find a tax credit or refund that people just didn't know was available to them. So it's critical that people file a return. Second, the new look back rule. As you know, Congress last year passed legislation to allow families to use either their 2019 or their 2020 income to calculate the earned income tax credit and or the additional child tax credit. The bottom line goal is to get people the biggest possible refund this year, or to pay the least amount that's owed, to get the legal amount due or owed to them to the IRS. 3 great organizations, not on this call, but with us in spirit, Commonwealth, Save Our Life, and Neighborhood Trust, work directly with taxpayers to identify the clearest messages to communicate this opportunity with the look back rule. They created sample tweets, flyers, and educational materials, which you can find on several websites, including ours, and you will have that information when we send you the follow-up email. Finally, all taxpayers, as you've heard, need to know about and know how to find the free taxpayer assistance programs offered by the IRS, the Georgia Department of Revenue, community-based organizations like AARP. April 15th is a month from today, and we want to urge those who need the most hands-on help to make appointments with AARP or other community-based programs that they can find by looking at one of the AARP locator or the VITA locator that's on IRS.gov or the IRS Mobile to Go app. And for anybody who is at least bit interested and may have even the slightest technological skills, if people use Facebook, if they can do text messaging, if they shop online, they most likely can use the software products available through Free File. And you're not alone with those when you're using those products. They're in products help, and there are generally phone numbers and chat functions to help people get support when they need it. You're not alone. So we just wrap up with the key things that people need. And again, Keisha said it best, download the IRS to Go mobile app to find the locators to connect people to the programs that can help them. And if they can't get an appointment, encourage them to use the products that are available through the Free File program. And you see on the slide a number of websites that are available: Tax Time Allies, Tax Time Crisis. You have the AARP and the IRS websites. Please use those. So now that you've heard from us and the experts, and the other thing, Ilse is going to put a sample tweet on the chat, if she hasn't already, that you can use right now to communicate with the people you serve about what's available. And this is not a one and done. Please keep going back to Tax Time Allies. Please keep looking at the IRS tips sheets so that you can continuously get this message out to people. So now that you've heard from the experts, and before we go to the Q&A, we want to give the last word to taxpayers, the most important people in this conversation. What you're about to see is a compilation of taxpayers who have used all of these resources, and they're talking about the positive experiences that they've had. So Kate, if you can call up the video.
Man, taxes is a headache.
Filing taxes, or the process of filing taxes, is sort of like a boogeyman.
I went to someone in the neighborhood to do my taxes and received a lot of fees that I really didn't understand.
Filing my taxes was definitely pretty scary.
I was hesitant in the beginning filing my taxes because I was afraid that I wasn't going to get as much money back if I hired a professional to file for me. But I did it for free and I was satisfied.
And it wasn't as stressful, as I thought it was going to be. I'm like, this isn't bad at all. I should have been doing this if I'd known it was this easy. It's like I was taking power and they didn't have the power. Now I'm doing it.
I'm doing it myself, and I've learned more about taxes through the questions that are prompted. Definitely empowered because I did my taxes myself.
I was going to do my taxes, learn how to do it so I don't need to depend on my parents or anyone else. makes you more confident because you're understanding what's going on.
First of all, it's free, so it's the best part. And second of all, it's so easy.
When I got to the end, it said charge, 0, and click submit. Whew, that was it, 0 charge.
There's no reason to pay for a professional, tax preparer. We can do the same service, without paying. A lot of accountants are going to hate me for that.
Like, you get to save money. That's the best part.
I said at the beginning that we believe that preparing a tax return is core to people's financial lives. And when people can file for free and with confidence, it can be a life changer. And for me, Linda is the person that represents that the best. She said, they had the power, now I had the power. So with that, let's turn up the lights, as Carol Burnett used to say, and turn on your cameras, because I'd like to start with a few questions. We got Seth and John and Commissioner. And we also have Katie from the Congressman's office who's available to answer questions too. So with that, Ilsa, can you tell me what questions that we have?
Sure, we've got a couple. Can people still call to make appointments in Augusta with AARP? I work at the public library and we've been told that the appointments have been booked through April 14th. So we've been giving patrons other places like VITA in the area to make appointments.
Yeah, I can answer that. We are starting this week, transitioning over from the scan model to the preparation in the office. And we hope this week, if this week, next week, opening up the appointment lines again to, once we figure out how many more appointments we can fit in, we're going to open those lines back up so all 4 of our sites can start making more appointments than they already have.
Excellent. Ilsa?
Great. Yep. I keep hearing that the tax season will be extended. When will I know for sure?
Keisha, I'm handing that one over to you.
That's a great question. So earlier on, I did mention that the tax deadline is still April 15th of this year. So I can't speculate on anything other than that. At this time, the date is what it is. So just make sure that you get your tax returns in.
Excellent.
For all those procrastinators, you can get an automatic extension for 3 months, but the tax offices, the assistance offices won't be open to help you.
Any other?
Okay, another question. Yeah, I work at a library and a lot of our older patrons are reluctant to use the internet. What resources can we give them for free tax help?
So
I can take that one.
Go ahead.
You're probably going to have to use either the VITA offices or the AARP offices for those elderly that need the assistance and are afraid to use the computer, because most other places that they're going to go are going to set them down in front of a computer, and there's very little there. The AARP folks do have one program where they can give you video assistance in preparation, but you're still the one sitting there behind the keyboard. So like most of the elderly clients that we have to come into the office to get their taxes done. So hopefully adding more appointments is going to help alleviate that stress.
And Keisha, did you have anything you wanted to add?
I just wanted to say to take advantage of the in-person offices that are still open. There are some taxpayer assistance centers that are still open that actually have those facilitated self-assistance kiosks. And the employees in those offices are there to help. They're there to guide them. I have done it myself. I've assisted so many people just in learning how to use the computer, learning how to, find out tax information, answer questionnaires, and they're so grateful for it. So that's another resource that, if you're not able to get into a VITA site in your area, or you're not able to get into AARP at this time, make an appointment or go walk into the Taxpayer Assistance Center, and those employees are really there to help you learn all the information you need about Social Security and your income, and they'll go through the different tools online for you.
The only other thing I would add to that is never make an assumption about what people are or are not comfortable with. I would have been shocked with seniors at different programs where we offer our donation of TurboTax, where they try it and they like it. But I don't want to make a universal claim that every senior can use it. That's not true. But just don't make an assumption that they won't or they can't, because you can always be surprised. And if they're vaccinated and they can be around their grandchildren, it could be a great opportunity to do things together.
Okay, just two more quick questions. I know we want to wrap up. Can I use Free File for my state tax return and do them at the same time?
Commissioner, do you want to take that one?
If I can unmute here. Yes. The answer is yes, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we put the Georgia website up there to make it easy for people to find. One last question. I already filed my taxes but received unemployment last year. Should I file an amended return?
Remember, so when we talked about your unemployment benefits and the other options in terms of getting the most refund that you can from those benefits, because we're excluding that $10,200, the first part of that. So at this time, we don't have any additional guidance to let you know on if you should file an amended return or not. Just stay tuned for more updates on irs.gov, okay?
That's excellent. And, the key thing is keeping on top of the information. And I think between IRS to go, the Georgia Department of Revenue, and the IRS, that is the best way to keep on top of it. We will also be posting information on Tax Time Allies that you can communicate. It's not the easiest thing in the world to keep on top of everything, but just remember, people are working their hardest and doing their best to make sure that everything can work for taxpayers and they can get the biggest refund.
Susan, can I interrupt just a quick minute? You're exactly right. It's not very easy, but they are welcome to email me directly with any questions. We have a Chief Tax Officer, Stacey Guess, on the line with us. But if I don't have the answer, we can find the answer for them. But they are welcome to email me directly. And if they've got any type of questions concerning filing their income taxes, we'll be happy to help.
Commissioner, thank you. That's a very generous offer. So thank you. All right. Well, with that, thank you all for being great Tax Time Allies. Thank you for joining us today, and have a great rest of the tax season.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.